Hey guys, we're going to talk a little bit about staying alive. This is an old Pullman stove, the old 425. Yeah. But that's what, you see the lead and stuff down in there. That's what I usually use for melting down the lead. But then I went to the propane for backup, because you never know. So what I want to look at here today is some different pots. Why am I showing pots instead of electrical pots? Because I don't use electrical. Now this big one here, that'll hold probably about 80 pounds. I got it for 10 bucks off an old plumber. If you notice it, one of the legs on the bottom is missing, probably rusted away or something. There's a couple more little pots. This one here holds 10 pounds. I got it at Stanball Thompson's back in 75. I'm thinking 1975 is when I got it. I bought that ladle with it. The ladle holds about a little over a pound. This I picked up years later. It holds about 10 pounds. This one I picked up. It's got a little handle on it. Hey, kitty. You can see each one of them. Yep. Yes, kitty. Yes, I know. I hear you. Everybody in the world hears you. That's a little strainer for, you know, digging out the metal and unwanted stuff that you don't want. But why am I talking about this stuff? Well, talking about staying alive. And if the power goes out and you've got to melt down some lead or something, you can find yourself screwed unless you've had backup. Now, let's see, I'll read something from a book written in 1976, and it's always stuck out with me, because it really made sense. Seems very curious that a human experience so fundamental as merely staying alive without the support of others requires a term so dramatic as survival to describe it. But then you consider the fact that almost 90% of the American people live in cities. Their food and clothing come from the labors of others. Various forms of energy are processed and delivered to their homes by others. The shelter they live in was probably built by others. It's protected from fire or others from intrusion more or less successfully by others. But because of this common interdependence in this complex civilization we live in, we tend to lose sight how vulnerable we really are, how unable we are through our own direct efforts to provide the core necessities for which we require to support our lives. Without really being aware of it, most of us have subconsciously subcontracted all of our life support system activities to other people, corporations, government bodies, and machines. And it contributes to frustration, but it's also life-threatening should there be an interruption of these vital services. You only need to think, for example, a week from next Wednesday, there was no gasoline at the pumps, no food in the supermarkets, no electrical power. The banks were all closed, and a mob had formed in the center of town, looting out of burning out of frustration and fear. Could you and your family survive even for a few weeks where you are now without additional food or water, or perhaps with little or no police protection? That's something to think about. Now, I live in the country. I pretty much have like two of everything just in case something breaks down. Like I have two chainsaws, you know. As you can see, I got more than one pot. I got more than one cat. More than one gas can. But no, you got to think ahead. let's say that there was something wrong. Let's say that a tornado or something come through, or say a tropical storm. Let's say your house collapsed and you people were in the basement taking shelter. Did you think to put a pick or a shovel down there so that maybe you could dig your way out in case nobody ever showed up to help you dig out? You might be stuck in there and won't be able to get food or water, medical attention, anything, because you're buried. Start using your head. Start thinking about the future. Stick a shovel and a pick down in the basement, maybe a saw. Things like that. It's just little things that you do that'll make you feel better if the crap ever does hit the fan. Start thinking ahead. You want to stay alive? Prove it. Show people. Live by example. There's so many things that can happen as humans. But like I said, I live out in the country. We've got to expect everything and don't expect any outside help. I mean, power could be off. That's why I have the Coleman. And like I said, I've got the propane thing to back it up. You've got to think ahead. And firewood, I mean, you can see there's firewood there. I got firewood out back. Got firewood everywhere because you don't know what's going to happen. If the power goes out, you've got to stay warm. You've got to be able to cook your food. Wouldn't hurt you to learn how to can too, because your canned goods will last and last and last, whereas all your stuff in your refrigerator and deep freeze can spoil in a matter of days. Okay, but anyway, that's what I want to talk about with survival. I want you to stay alive, and this is one way to do it. I've seen a lot of people with their electrical pots and stuff like that. You got to think ahead. What if something happens? You've got to have some way to fall back on. You can still melt lead over a bonfire out back, or actually even in your fireplace if you needed to. Think ahead. You can do this. Our forefathers did. Our forefathers were way ahead of their time. They had to be. They couldn't count on anybody but themselves. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Well, wait a minute, let's see what the temperature is. Let's say 80. Yeah. When the sun comes in, about 80. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, don't rely on one source of anything. Be your own man. Be independent.